Hi, I'm Kyle, a tired therapist.
And I'm Jackie, also a tired therapist.
And together, we are
Two tired therapists. Welcome to the pod.
Welcome to the Breakfast Club.
Yeah, it's the breakfast edition.
We're having breakfast at Tiffany's.
Yeah. Well, you did get breakfast made
I did
for
get
you.
breakfast. We did, yeah.
So did I. Thanks, producer
Thanks,
Justin.
producer Justin.
He looks like he wants to kill us both.
Well, it's just another day.
Oh my gosh.
Another day in the studio.
Oh, I love it.
That is the upstairs loft of Jackie and
the only
producer
place
Justin's house.
The dogs will not act a fool.
Well,
so
we'll see.
Welcome
We'll see.
to that. How are you?
Great. Just great.
We've been together
I
for
hate
like
this episode
we've been together for
already.
so long.
Well, yeah, we made Two Tired Therapists herstory with
I
our
know.
first sleepover.
We went and saw a show last night.
Mm-hmm.
A good show. Should we talk about? Should we shout them out?
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
Okay, we went and
Friends
saw-
of the pod.
Yeah, friends of the. And tag them in this episode. When this episode drops, just tag them. See if they. It's not retweet anymore. Whatever they do.
Re-X.
They re-X us.
It. Yeah.
We went and saw it for those who are fans of, I guess, Drag Race.
Mm-hmm.
Bald and the Beautiful.
Yes.
Trixie and Katya. We went and saw their live recording podcast. It was very good.
It was good. It was very
nice.
funny. Yeah. And then I stayed the night.
Mm-hmm.
And
The dogs have been just thrilled ever since.
Yeah, we stayed up all night and we painted each other's nails and we talked about boys. And no, actually, we literally if we were true like sister wives, last night is exactly what I would expect our life to be, where we came home and we all just didn't say a word to each other and went to bed.
Yeah, that's exactly what happened. And that's a typical Friday night in this home.
I was like getting ready for bed, and then I came out and I was like gonna say, well, good night, like see you guys tomorrow, and like door was closed. I was like, okay,
welcome to the home.
Welcome home.
That's how.
I'm home.
Yep. You welcome to a Friday night.
And I just made I went and got my water. It was like I lived here. It was like I lived here.
Oh my God.
It was great.
Yep.
It was great.
That's how we do it at Chateau. Producer Justin.
Right. Chateau beep.
Beep. Oh my God.
One of the 8 last names that you have that I can never remember what your actual last name is.
Yes, it's true. Story for another day.
Yeah. That's for the Patreon. That's the Patreon.
I was gonna say, if we ever do a Patreon, if
Yeah.
people would be interested in that would actually be funny to do. But yeah, we could put that behind a paywall. I'd feel comfortable disclosing more information if people paid for it. That sounds really bad. Very capitalist of me, but
Yeah.
anyways.
Very slutty.
Kyle, tell us what you are tired of on today's date.
I have a lot of things that I would love to discuss with the people.
Oh my God.
I think today, let's talk about and again, this is going to be Instagram because I'm a boomer.
Sure.
We've discussed this. And I think the people who you see these videos of people talking about, like, you should just let go of like expectations for your body and like body positivity. And then they're literally 85 pounds.
Yeah, it is.
Like, have had plastic surgery.
Yeah, they got their lip filler on.
God bless. I'm not judging. Like, if that's something you got to do, I love that for you. But don't sit here and be like, you just got to like love your body.
Yeah, it's not. I don't know.
No, I don't. I don't have to love my body.
Whenever I watch videos like that, I'm always like, don't tell me what to do.
Exactly. Like, I'm going to do the opposite of what you tell me. Like, I could be all day be like, I just love my body. And then when they're like, you should love your body, I'm like, fuck that.
Fuck that little bitch.
Fuck that little bitch. Well, have you heard there's a move, I don't know if it's new, but there's a movement called body liberation. Have you heard of this?
I don't think so.
So this is the idea, like it's basically going against now this, what they call toxic body positivity.
Yeah.
That,
I can't keep up anymore with, well, what are we mad about? I don't know.
Well, it changes, but I do like this because it says body liberation says like, if you don't like your body that day, that's fine. Like if you're not feeling yourself, that's okay. Like, don't be mean to yourself. But like you don't need to feel yourself every day.
Or you don't have to pretend like it's going well when it's not going well.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So I think that's kind of nice because I think
better.
you can get that body positivity because some days you just don't. Like you just don't.
Yeah.
You don't feel yourself, and that's okay.
That's fine. It's all fine.
That's all we got. That's the episode.
And cut to the music. Thanks.
What
bye.
are you tired about? What's going on
Oh my
for
God.
you?
This is going to sound so weird, and this is going to sound like a real oxymoron, but it's fine. That's just how I'm feeling today. I'm really tired of like when you misspell things on like a text or an email that your phone just doesn't automatically like correct it. Sometimes it
Yes.
does. Sometimes it does and it doesn't do it correctly. But I'm like, I'm spelling the word wrong. Just correct it.
Right.
Like don't.
Well, and it's always the words
Emails
that
too.
you haven't even misspelled that much incorrectly.
No. And I'm like, you have the technology to just literally like, what I'm trying to say in the context. We have like, they have ChatGPT, like you can feed it some shit and it'll figure it out.
And it's always words like I'm.
Yeah.
It won't put the apostrophe.
Yeah, I don't.
And you're like there, or you're putting
Yeah.
like well, and you put WELK.
Yeah.
And it's like clearly the K is
And
right next
just
to the
fix
L,
it.
and
Just fix it. But yeah.
But then any other time you're typing like diarrhea or gonorrhea, and you could type like GANNERRAI, and it's like, did you mean gonorrhea?
Yeah, but I also hate autocorrect, so this is like a weird thing. But I'm like, if it's like if I misspell and or if I misspell the, like, just fix it and don't like, I don't know.
You type like A and S, and it's like, did you mean answer?
Yeah.
No,
I didn't.
No, I didn't.
So that's what I'm tired of.
What is this?
Yeah.
1995.
It sure is.
Jesus.
It sure is. Okay. Well, everyone buckle up for the ride of your life. I would, if you have not watched this documentary, I would pause this episode. I would go watch it.
Yes.
And then I would come back to this, because if you haven't watched this is not going to make sense to you. Well, it might make sense. You might like it.
It may still not make sense.
I'm still confused.
Yeah.
I'm still confabbled. I don't know what the hell is going on.
Yeah.
But we're going to talk today about Love Has Won, the Cult of Mother God.
Mm-hmm. It's giving mother.
Producer Justin and I just watched this. We just finished it the other night. It's 3 episodes. It's like they're like 45 minutes to an hour piece. It's not it's not long.
No, it's not.
It's on Max. It's a documentary. It's about a woman named Amy Carlson who basically went from a manager at McDonald's to a cult leader with not a lot of explanation in between, if you ask me.
Yeah.
But reading some articles and stuff, which we will
I think we
link.
could piece together what happened.
So she purported herself as Mother God to her followers, saying Kyle and I were talking about this off air. There's not really like a goal of this cult either. I mean, it is a cult, basically. Spoilies. It's a cult, but there's not a goal. But she said that she is the 534th reincarnate of Mother God, who is a deity to lead exactly 144,000 people out of superficial reality, or what they in the doc call a 3D world. So they refer to a lot of stuff as like 3D, into a 5th dimensional plane of higher existence. She said she was formerly Mother Earth, Cleopatra, Joan of Arc, Marilyn Monroe. Those are just to name a few. There were others.
Convenient.
Harriet Tubman was another one, and I was like,
yes,
what?
The collage. It's coming back to me. I haven't. I watched it when it first came out, so Jackie's gonna be reminding me of lots of things.
Yeah,
today.
she like held up this decoupage of like celebrities. And we're gonna be assholes because we're gonna laugh at this, but it is kind of it's not funny. What happened is not funny, but it's just funny. I mean, it's crazy, but
it's crazy.
I'm so sorry. I'm using the word crazy, but
we're not PC here. It's fine. It's fine. We got to tell the tea like it is.
It's wild. She had this decoupage of like celebrities and stuff.
Yeah.
And she was like, "These are who all my people." She said that she had full memories of all of these lives. She could produce miracles, and I put in parentheses, although no miracles were shown in the making of this documentary.
No, and some of those people were alive. Still.
Several
people on there.
Donald Trump was one of. Shockingly, they were big MAGA.
Robin Williams, I think, was on there. Right?
We will.
Mother Teresa.
We will chittily chat about poor Robin Williams.
Can't wait.
Smeared through the mud for this. I don't understand. Anyway, the other thing that she had, which was kind of interesting, was she had several father gods who were basically her spiritual husbands, but she would these were guys she was like banging. Yeah. And she had the first one was like this real poor guy. He seemed very nice. He was very old. He's much older than she was. They got married, and that was her first father god. Then she like left him, and then she found another one, then another one, then another one. And the last one was
conveniently at the right time.
The last one
was
was an interesting man who had a rap
personality
sheet.
disorder.
Well, that too, and a rap sheet.
Yeah,
it was sad because it was just like I don't even know how to describe it.
It was sad because it was fueled by untreated mental health.
Sure.
And that's the tea.
Sure. Okay. So here, I'll talk more.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
part of what she did too, which is probably important to talk about, which is where kind of Robin Williams comes into this, is what she would do is she said she was communicating with the Galactics. I could not take this seriously because this really sounded like the guys I used to work with in the prison.
Yeah.
Like this is the
Yeah.
shit that they would talk about.
Delulu. Yeah.
And which she said was a team of spiritual ambassadors that was made up of, and they were mostly deceased celebrities.
Sure.
The one that she talked about the most was Robin Williams, who I'm sure would have never signed off on having his name in this documentary.
No.
And if I was his estate, I would be suing the fuck out of
Which
this person.
maybe.
But she also claimed she was a spiritual surgeon who can multi-dimensionally operate on people's bodies and cure various physical ailments.
I gotta go.
I gotta
Cut the camera.
Well, cut the cameras, dead ass. We're done. I just
Yeah.
So she gained most of her following through the internet.
Yeah.
Which they live streamed their lives and their talks. I mean, when I say live stream, they literally were like on a live stream 24/7. Like they were literally
right.
like sitting and talking around a fire and like, and
Peeking.
then yeah.
Which I will say, I think this did start out innocently. Like I think these were just a bunch of hippies,
Lost
hippie
people.
dippies that
So
like
sorry.
found each other. No, like no tea.
They were
like,
all lost.
They were all
yeah.
lost. You know, they were disenfranchised with the setup of the world. You know.
Yes. Well,
and,
yeah.
And they didn't want to live in that. And God bless. I love that.
Yeah.
And it morphed into something that it did
little
not need to be.
Evil, I would say. It was a little evil. I mean,
don't
it
know.
wasn't like they were doing evil stuff, but it was just like
Unintentionally, I think. Well, I don't
it just
know.
it well
Some intentionally.
So Amy herself, they didn't really talk a lot about this in the documentary. I found
she
it on
didn't start this movement.
Yes, she did.
Did
she
didn't it kind of already exist? Like
I don't know if
not the love has one specific, but like there was already this kind of movement about like ascending and all that.
Yeah.
Like that's been around.
If anybody has
know.
watched like the Twin Flames universe thing on Netflix, this is really like the way that they spoke and the language they were using was really similar to that, which we'll probably do an episode on that in the future.
One's fucked up. Let's talk about that. You know.
It's on the list. Yeah, that
Yeah.
one's crazy. But
Yeah.
she herself fell down a rabbit hole of the internet back in 2007. She left her family. She had 3 kids. She left them completely just straight up and cut contact with her family. Like her sister and her mom were in the documentary, and I felt so bad for them.
That was sad.
Because they said she like showed up to a dinner. They were having like a dinner, and she just got up in like the middle of the dinner and left. And she like never talked to them again. She like just left. But at one point they had 20,000 followers on Facebook, 10,000 on YouTube, and their videos were watched more than 1.5 million times.
Yeah.
And basically, as it progressed, they did drugs and partied the whole time. Acid, meth, you name it.
You name it.
It was
there.
Yep, it was done. And members said that they were essentially high from the time they woke up to the time they went to bed. They made a lot of money. In the end, you found out they made about $300,000, which was crazy. But they made money by selling supplements and merchandise online.
Yeah.
And
they got back into that capitalism.
and
Don't you worry.
we will chilly chat about their primary love, and which was colloidal silver.
Colloidal silver.
Girl, no.
I know. We got a lot to talk about with that.
Well, and their whole thing was colloidal silver was good. It's good for your immune system. And during COVID, there was a whole thing that said it would help cure COVID. It would prevent COVID.
Sure.
They were literally drinking this shit by the gallon. I don't even know if you can drink it. I assume you can drink it.
Yeah,
I think it's like
they were
drops
doing
or whatever.
Drops. Yeah.
They were like had like Stanleys and Yetis full of colloidal silver. But there is no real scientific benefit to it. And spoilies, it will turn you blue as poor Amy Carlson turned blue.
As she found out quick. Mm-hmm.
And alcohol was a very highly used. We will talk about. We'll talk about it anyways.
Yeah.
So eventually, pretty much anybody who was in the cult was losing weight. There was something I can't remember exactly what they said about food. It was like you didn't need that much food to live or something like that. It was kind of weird.
Well, I think it was like all fruits and vegetable, right? Like
it was
the earth. It was you weren't eating anything.
Yeah.
Refined.
So you could tell that they were developing eating disorders.
Which,
some of them look wild in the
food
videos.
Is I know this about cults. We'll do a cult episode, but one tool that cult leaders use is food to control people.
Yeah, food and sleep is like the main ones. But the members developed eating disorders and substance use problems. There was this article, I think it was Vanity Fair, was saying essentially that like there was a lot of them had heroin use. Some of them were formerly addicted to drugs.
Mm-hmm.
That's why they found the cult. Some of them were really disenfranchised with the medical community, I guess is just why they joined her.
Sure.
Which I guess makes sense, but Amy also seemed to suffer from some type of alcohol use disorder.
Mm-hmm.
Let's talk about these clips of her where they said the Galactics were speaking through her, but it was just her drunk as fuck, screaming at everyone.
No tea, no shade.
I'm
drunk girl.
I turned to Justin and I was like, she's just drunk person screaming at everyone.
But they were like,
yeah, they were like, mother is going
serving.
through it. Yeah,
mother is serving. Mother is serving.
Mother has to tell
giving.
us we are bad, and the Galactics are just speaking to her. They also said at one point, which made me laugh out loud. It sounds so bad, but it made me laugh out loud. They were like, she needs to go speak to the Galactics. So she was essentially sleeping, but they said she was speaking to the Galactics in a very
right.
But she got sick. She got very ill.
I think didn't she have cancer or something?
She said she had cancer. I read her autopsy.
And I will link it. I love that.
She said she had cancer. She lost a lot of weight. She got sicker. At one point, she couldn't move from the waist down. Her father God had to carry her everywhere. Mm-hmm. They did not like Western medicine. They were really against it. At a couple points in the documentary, the documentarians or whatever you want to call them asked, why wouldn't you take her to the hospital? And they're like, we would never take her to a 3D hospital.
She wouldn't ascend. They said if she died in the hospital, she wouldn't ascend.
So she just kept getting sicker. They kept feeding her more colloidal silver. She also definitely had an eating disorder because she wasn't eating.
Well, and when you say feeding, I mean, we're feeding.
Yeah.
I mean, she was taking that silver.
Yeah, she was drinking that,
and they just down in it.
And in the documentary, they show like the notebooks of where they're documenting all this stuff, and like it said she couldn't be over 103 pounds. I mean, you could see every bone in this woman's body. But of course, the more she took the colloidal silver, then she started getting a little gray hue, and then over time she became fucking blue. Yeah. What was probably the most shocking thing about this whole thing is so she was getting sicker and sicker. They didn't want to take her to the hospital. A couple times she was like, can you take me to the hospital? Can you call my family? They called them Earth family in the documentary when they mean like they're your born family. Right. And the group was like, nope, we're not doing any of that.
That's a test.
Yeah, we're not doing it. At one point her family was like, we don't know what to do. They emailed the Dr. Phil show. We could do a whole episode on Dr. Phil because he's the worst. I'm so sorry, Mom. She used to love Dr. Phil. I cannot. But they reached out to the Dr. Phil show hoping Dr. Phil would help and give resources. They were on the show. I'm sure you could YouTube it or Google it. You'll find it. And Dr. Phil didn't do shit. He was like, we're done.
Shocking.
So yeah, and then they interview her kids who are older at this point in the documentary, and they tried to talk to her, and she was just like, "You're welcome to come and see me," but her kids were like, "I don't want to see her. Like these people are nuts." So so Amy's very sick. Once she says they also moved around a lot. It was like she would randomly say, "We need to go to this place or this place." They're primarily in Colorado. They were also in Oregon. They were also in somewhere else too, I think. They moved around a lot. But at one point, she was very, very ill. She was a skeleton, essentially is what she was.
Oh, yeah. She did not.
She was like, we need to go to Oregon. So they wheel her into this. I assume it's a hotel. They have video of this. So she's like blue.
Yeah, it was a hotel.
She looks like a corpse. She is not dead at this point. Spoilies. And they take her to this hotel and she just to like die there. Yeah. And I'm like, if I was a hotel person, I'd be like, what the fuck?
Well, they tried to kick her out. They were like, you got to go.
Well, and they said that they were like hiding in the room. Like they didn't want anybody. So they had like this big tub. So they have like pictures and videos of her. I mean, and she looks like she's dead. Yeah. And then she died. She ascended. And
allegedly.
Don't
know about that.
And then they were all like, they like kept her body. They put makeup on her when she had the autopsy. She had like makeup and her hair done and stuff. It was strange. Right. But God, it was so bad.
Well, because there was something was supposed to happen to her body.
Yes, her body. Her body was supposed to also like ascend up with her. I think,
or something, or it's supposed to like go back to being healthy or something.
Yeah, so they really thought she was going to undie.
And then when it didn't, they were like...
Well, and in their little notebooks, they're like, she was moving, she was breathing, whatever. And then they pull out this EMF reader, which is like, ghost hunting.
Ghost hunting, right.
And so they're putting it on their hands, and it's reading nothing. They put it on her, and it's giving off crazy readings. And I'm going to assume, I did not look this up, I meant to, but that's from the fucking colloidal silver. Like, that's not from... And she... I mean, they're showing her feet and her hands. I mean,
Mummified.
We are mummified, and we are not joking. She is full blown like gray blue, like she is
dark gray blue.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So they don't know what to do. They're freaking out. They're like, we need to take her back to Colorado. So they roll her, and there's like 3 or 4 of them with her. It's Father God and like 2 other people.
Though he was like going AWOL at the end, right? Wasn't he like, I'm done?
Yeah,
Like,
a little bit, but like they had to take her back. They're like, we have to go to Colorado. That's where the Galactics are going to come. You know, they look at clouds and they're like, those are the starships. And Justin and I are like, those are fucking clouds.
fucking
Like, what
clouds.
the
I know.
crazy.
I know.
Anyway, so they wrap her up and they put her in a car, and they get pulled over by the cops on the way, and they put sunglasses on her and they make her look like she's sleeping. This is a full fucking. I have a weird thing with that. I don't like dead bodies. It freaks me out. Like,
Sure.
I could not imagine
Driving in a car?
Yeah, and then they went camping with this dead body.
Because
Straight
it's
up.
not a dead body. They said
No,
it's not a
but
dead
it's
body.
Still.
I know.
They got back to Colorado, and then they had wellness checks called, and then the police. And that's really the opening of the whole documentary. It's
Right.
the body cam from the police, and it is terrifying. I watched the first episode, and I was like, I can't watch it.
It
And then
was a little creepy.
and she's
Because
just
the body's just laying in the bedroom.
Well, and they had her wrapped up, and they put Christmas lights around her, and they were like, mother is resting, or whatever. I forget what they said. It was like not sleeping, but it was like mother is resting.
Ascending. Mother is ascending.
Yeah, and oh god. Anyways, it's just
Mhm.
it was a dumpster fire. What was your, I don't want to say favorite part. What was your favorite part?
I mean, it's hard to pick.
I can't.
It's hard to pick because it really is.
can't.
I mean, it gives Tiger King where you're like, this can't get worse.
Yeah.
And then it does.
I think my favorite part was just how like they had these like really made up unbelievable rules for themselves that they couldn't go to like a 3D hospital. They could,
Right.
but they all know what these rules are, and these are shit that Amy just made up on the fly.
Well, but
it wasn't like she like wrote any, like she
No,
just,
no.
she would just say this shit, and
But
then
it
they
was
would like
conveniently to fit her narrative or
Yes.
what, you know, it's like, well, the Galactic said we can't eat corn
yeah,
because I don't like corn.
yeah,
So you guys can't eat it either.
Yeah.
Like, it was that.
yeah,
It was literally that.
yeah,
And then it's like she's drinking alcohol, and it's like,
Screaming at
but this
them.
is my, this is the tool to
Yeah.
ascend. So it's like
yes,
you're just making shit up to fit your narrative.
Yes.
Same thing with the father gods. Like, the first father god was supposed to be like the only one. Like, they
Right, the
don't
the original old guy,
reincarnate. They
yeah.
don't, like, mother god gets one in this life, and then
she had like 4, I think,
he
4 or
started.
5.
I think he started to like call
'Cause
her
then-
out or something. And
yeah.
so then he was gone and
Well, and then
got a new one.
she had one father god before she met the final one, and then she made the second to last one father of the multiverse, which okay, Doctor Strange, like I don't
Right,
get it, like I don't
right,
get it, but
right.
so Amy, when she died, she was only 75 pounds.
Yep.
Which looks about right. She died primarily due to alcohol abuse, anorexia, and chronic colloidal silver ingestion. She was only 45 years old.
Yep.
She had no cancer. She said she had cancer. She had no cancer.
She didn't.
Truly, there was actually, I will, for those who really want to look, I will link the PDF of her autopsy because it was linked in an article. Because I was like, oh, let me just read it. She didn't have any, from what I can tell, she didn't have any like drugs in her system. Like she didn't have any like crazy drugs. THC was the only one it looks like that she had. But yeah, otherwise she was like complete, like everything was fine. Like besides, being 75 pounds, but
Right.
but everything, there was nothing,
Right.
no cancer, no like diseases, no nothing. So she drank herself to death, stopped eating.
Well, yeah. And I
And-
wonder, maybe she had like liver disease or something.
And they talked about that a little
Yeah,
bit in the
that would make
documentary
sense.
about that. But
And I'm sure I imagine colloidal silver was processed through your liver, I imagine.
I would imagine.
So alcohol and silver going through your liver, probably not good.
Yeah, it's not. It's,
Your liver or your kidneys.
I'm trying to see it. Yeah. Serious side effects. The most common is argyria, buildup of silver in the body's tissues causing a bluish gray discoloration of the skin, which is usually permanent.
Yeah. But that's you have to ingest a lot.
Yeah, it is.
Because I think people do take it and, fine, do your own research. But like a vitamin.
If it's going to turn you a different color, I would say
Yeah,
you probably
probably
shouldn't.
no.
Like,
Probably heavy metals in the body.
or like if you really want to take it, don't take it, like don't
like
be
a drop a
drinking.
day.
Yeah, she was doing like
Yeah.
45 drops a day. They were like
Oh,
8 drops for
if-
breakfast,
Right.
75 for lunch,
If not more. Yeah.
Yeah.
She had a whole dosing schedule that I think, of course, the Galactics gave her. But
I just can't get over the Robin Williams thing too.
I think that was it. It's just, I guess I won't say it's my favorite because that feels wrong, but it's just, again, this idea that you're creating this narrative. But that's how cults are, right? Like they
Yeah.
say, like, if you do this, then you get this. It's like, no tea, no shade out there. But the Mormons, right? Like,
Yeah, it's similar.
it's some guy one day said, well, I would like more than one wife because
Right.
one punene forever. I can't do that.
Can't be me.
And so God said, sure, girl. Yeah, you
Yeah,
can get more than one. Absolutely.
Right, but it doesn't.
But
It doesn't
guess what?
apply for women.
But
It's fine.
God,
It's fine.
but God only told me.
Yeah.
So
Well, it doesn't apply for women.
and it doesn't
Fuck
apply for women because that's how that is.
In just in case people are like, how would you define a cult? And when I Googled it, this is what came up. A cult is defined as a system or group of people who practice excessive devotion to a figure, object, or belief system, typically following a charismatic leader.
Yep.
And I would say she was charismatic because they talked about in the documentary, she moved up in McDonald's very quickly. Like she was like 18 and she became like a manager of a store and did a really good job about that. So let's take a break.
Oh, okay.
I have some discussion questions.
perfect.
I know we've been discussing.
Discussing,
but we'll do some discussion questions, and then I have a really funny edition of Fetch or Flop that has nothing to do with this episode.
Oh, great.
It was inspired by this episode, but not. It doesn't have anything to do with this because I'm like, I can't do like a colloidal silver Fetch or Flop.
Fetch.
We can't be doing that. So we will be right back.
Welcome back.
Welcome back.
We have ascended.
Oh
We're
my
5D
God.
at this moment.
I also think my other favorite thing was like they were like, look at these the starships, whatever they call them. They were like the galactic ship. It was just fucking clouds.
It's cloud.
They showed so many videos of just like pretty clouds, like pretty like different color clouds, like sunset, sunrises.
Right.
And I'm just like,
well,
this
and they're in
is
the desert, and there's
nothing.
different, you get
Yeah.
different cloud formations because of mountains and stuff, and they're like,
Yeah.
it's ships. They use clouds as cover. Okay.
Yeah, sure.
That's great.
Okay. Discussion questions. And this is mostly our like, opinion questions. It's not, we
Yeah.
don't have to make it like scientific, but
Well,
why
yeah.
do you think her followers were drawn to her or the cause, which we've kind of talked about a little bit, or her she didn't really have a cause, but her ideas.
Yeah, I mean, I think the basic of their ideas was, you live this free life. Like we are not engaging in capitalism. We are not engaging in like the free world. We're not engaging in these fake things like modern medicine.
It was funny because the one at the end, one of the girls was like, she was driving in a neighborhood. She was like, this is all fake. Like this is all fake and not real. And I was like, I'm like, you're driving a car in a suburban neighborhood. Like what about this is not? And I think she was trying to say like, it's not real because it's like material stuff, but like.
Sure. Which fine.
Anyways.
Yes, you're right. You could make an argument for this is all fake because we've all made this up. This world is made up. We have decided
money is made up, honestly.
Yeah, like we've decided like $1 is $1.
Yeah.
Like that's not real. Like we've called that a window because you can see through it.
Yes.
But that doesn't mean anything. So fine. But again, I think that's just people dissenting.
Yeah, it is. And I think
and she was charismatic.
Yeah, she was.
She
was beautiful. She was not an ugly person. She was
and
she was good looking. She
right.
she could talk to people.
Yeah.
She was very like
she was
clearly,
a party girl.
Yeah, clearly like
yeah, she was fun to be around.
And I think part of it too, like I said before, was like she was drawing people who were sort of, I don't want to say on the fringes of society, but like
no,
they were a little disenfranchised from
Absolutely.
society. They were people who, addicted to drugs or like had medical issues, and like one of them they interviewed, she had like some pretty severe medical issues. She was like $100,000 in debt, she said, from the medical stuff, and she just left and joined their and she left before Amy died, so she was no longer in it. But again, like if you're disenfranchised with, maybe I'm not using that word correctly, but if
no,
you're,
I think so.
But if you're
disenfranchised is a good word.
Like, and if you're kind of like, you're like, I hate all these, Western ideals, Western medicine.
Yes.
It's not helping me. I'm sick, whatever. Like, I can see why they would be drawn to that sort of like, I can heal you spiritually, surgically with my like, I just need to talk to the Galactics and we will make it work. And Robin Williams, tell me what to do. I mean, like, it's just, that's what it was.
It was people who were abandoned by society or abandoned by their families, or whether they truly were not.
Some people were, I mean, the people in the cults perceived that their families were the problems.
Right.
And it was crazy to watch how many of them were just like the families were like, they were smart, like they were like valedictorian, they were all of these
but
things.
it is that perception. That's what I mean. But like, even if it's real or not, like even if society really didn't abandon them, so but and so then I think having this idea that like you can live free and it can be easy, they want the easy fix. I can just spiritually do a little surgery and you'll be fine. Like it'll take 5 minutes.
I wonder what that looks like. Like, do you just stand there? Do you just lay there? Do you just nothing happens? She does it on her own. She goes to speak to the Galactics and takes a little nappy nap.
Right. She says, I'm gonna take my
that killed me.
my ascending juice. I'm gonna take my fireball, and then I will go speak to the Galactics for between.
They called it something very. What did they? They called it something very specific, but it was her just fucking taking a nap.
It was like she was consulting with the Galactics or something.
Yeah. It was.
Yeah.
Anyways.
So yeah, I think just that, and so I think they all needed each other, I guess, in a way. But then again, untreated mental health added into the mix, substance use, personality issues.
Much.
That never goes well.
If they really are rejecting everything Western, not that therapy, I wouldn't call therapy like a Western thing, but I mean, it is part of Western culture.
Technically, I think.
But then they're going to reject anything. Okay.
Right.
Next question. How do people get involved in cults, and who is the ideal member?
Well, again,
some of these are related. Like,
I think it's just what we were talking about. It's the people who are disenfranchised, who are the most vulnerable, and I don't really know how to say this, but are I guess because of that vulnerability are weak-willed and can be easily manipulated. Yeah,
I think people get like we said, they get involved because of something that happens in their life, whether it's trauma, whether it's whatever. There's probably
mostly trauma,
right? It is.
Yeah.
I just Googled who's an ideal member of a cult just to see if there was any like studies, and it looks like Cal State East Bay did some type of study. And
we really got to do an episode on
cults, But common characteristics that emerge between members of various cults include a higher level of education, a weaker spiritual background, higher financial success, younger age, and fewer time constraints, which makes sense if you're like, you got family. But
interesting.
Minus a couple of things.
That's us.
That's awesome. I wouldn't say higher financial success, but it's fine.
Well, there you go.
But you all can help us achieve that.
But I do think it's, because if you think about the trauma piece, trauma really affects your self-esteem.
Well, and we did not talk about it at all, but her mom said that so her mom got married young, had Amy at like 19 or 20, and then divorced her husband / Amy's father when Amy was like 6 or 7, she was young, and then Amy herself kind of followed a pattern of abusive relationships, and so I kind of understood the mother god thing as she wanted to be the more powerful one in the relationship.
Sure.
That's how I was okay, so this makes sense for her psyche.
Absolutely.
she wasn't powerful, so now she is in charge. She is the one driving this whole thing.
Amy, if you're out there, wherever you are listening,
God, please strike me down.
We're not mad at you, because look, if I could become Mother God and have a bunch of followers who, I don't know, make me sandwiches all day, and I can say, oh, the Galactics said I get to play video games for 4 hours and you guys have to give me $100,000. Would I do it? Absolutely. Are you kidding me?
Well,
but that's the thing. She wanted to be in power.
Sure.
And power is intoxicating.
Sure.
As is alcohol. And they don't go well together.
Maybe colloidal silver. Well,
jury's out.
Here's a question for you, because I asked this to Justin when we were watching it, and I still don't really know. I'm on the fence. Do you think she actually believed what she was doing, or do you think at a point, and I think at a certain point she stopped when she got sick, but she was so far in this hole with everything, because she was asking to go to a hospital, she was asking to speak to her family. She did reach out to her family right before she died. And the sister was I talked to her, and I offered to call the police, I offered to get her help, and she was no, I don't want it.
Yeah.
But do you think she actually believed what she was spouting? Genuinely, do you actually think that she believed that? Because I don't think she really did.
I think, well, like I said, I think in the beginning it started out just this is what we believe, and I think I said to you in the break, this is me as someone who I love my crystals, and I got sage.
Sure.
But do I think that sage is going to cure my cancer? No. Mm-mm. So I think in the beginning it was just this we're free, I'm building this community that I've always wanted, I feel really good, and then it follows bell curve trajectory where it's it just worsened and worsened, and it became I don't know, this cognitive dissonance where it was this isn't actually working, but I'm gonna believe it harder and harder and harder, and then I think at the end when she started to get really sick and I think she knew she was gonna die.
100%.
She was I fucked up. I think I fucked up.
And I don't know that she could have been like, I don't know.
But you can't come back at that point.
Well, she
so.
wouldn't. She would have never not been blue. Like, I mean, like let's assume before they took her to Oregon, they took her to a hospital. Like you're permanently now this
Yeah,
color.
I don't think. Yeah.
Like, no, it's permanent. I mean, but like I don't know how much. Like maybe they could have prolonged her life by several months. But I mean, she was probably gonna die no matter
right,
what.
I'm sure
Unfortunately,
her organs were shutting
well,
down.
anorexia really does a whole number on your insides. We've never talked about eating disorders, but I mean,
we could do that.
It's
too.
not. It's
I don't
not
know a lot about it.
I was gonna say it's not my wheelhouse anyway. But anyways,
if anyone's a specialist, call in.
Oh, sure, we'll have
Stephanie.
you on.
Stephanie, call in. What do you know about it?
Oh my God, I love it. Okay, here's another one. How do you get out of a cult, and what does the aftermath of that look like?
You know, that's because we talked about the twin flames. So there were people who got out of that one.
Sure.
And
crazy.
I mean, to me, I would compare it, and maybe you can agree or disagree. I know you will. I know you'll agree. I think it's like people who go to prison for 25 years and then get out, and they're like,
it's a different
I don't know what world this is.
Yeah, it's
like,
totally different.
So I think, they talk about like deprogramming. I mean, that's a literal thing, because when you are in this cult, you're in a whole different reality. The rules are not the same as life, every day for any of us. So, but as far as how I'm trying to remember in Twin Flames I think it's just, I don't remember. Do you remember how they got to that point where they're like, ooh, I'm done?
I think it was like for them, it was like a combo of different factors. It was like, so that one
I think you have to see what goes on behind the scenes.
That one was kind of wild because to not get into a rabbit hole of that documentary, but I remember for one of them very specifically, they were like very much like, you have masculine energy, you have feminine. So they were essentially telling some of their followers, you need to transition to a different gender. And like one of them had to like talk to somebody, the main one who got out, who had all of like the videos and stuff. Yeah. And she was like, I can't do this. Like I can't. And she kind of like, they had to like yell at, like they were a true like cult, like almost pyramid scheme of like, where like the top people were at the top,
I think those
and then
are the same thing.
Well, and they had to keep like funneling down. That was theirs. But I think for this one though, it's hard because obviously
I don't think many of them got out though, did they? They were pushed.
There were several of them.
Was it?
Yeah, there were several of them who straight up left. I think a couple were pushed out, but I think a lot of them in that documentary actually left on their own accord. Yeah. But like for this one, like it's hard because I was telling Kyle before we even started recording, like I was thinking, like, you're thinking when you're watching it, spoilies, like, you're like, oh my God, maybe these people got out. But, like, most of them are still in it. Most of them are, the cult still exists. A couple of them branched out into other stuff, and they have their own, and Father God and Father Multiverse have kept this whole thing going. But the other part is, like, they have to want to get out. Like, and there has to be, like, there has to be, like, an event. Or it doesn't have to be an event, but there's got to be some type of catalyst for wanting to leave. It is definitely a deprogram. Like, it's crazy.
Yes. And I think it's probably something where, because it's kind of like addiction, right? Where it's like, it moves up each time. Like, it started with like, I talked to the Galactics and people were like, a little weird, but I can take that. And then it's like, mommy's juice is Fireball to talk. And you're like, okay, like, fine. But I feel like there becomes a point where it jumps. Yeah. Like with the Twin Flames, like, you're going to get a sex change. Yeah. And they're like, whoa. Yeah. Whoa, hey, hang on now.
Yeah, you need it. Yeah, that was
and
wild.
And it kind of jolts them back to that reality. And then they go, is what we're following really what we're following?
Yes. So, next question. Could therapy have helped any of these people? Not while they were in it. I will just tell you that. I have done therapy with delusional people, and it is awful.
Right.
No. Not because they're awful, because they just believe this so hard. There's just nothing you're going to be able to say that will make it any better.
And I think this is something, if you're not attuned to therapy and what it is and what it is not, you cannot make someone do therapy. No, that is impossible. No, motivation is a key factor in healthy outcomes for therapy. So if you were to say, like, go talk to a therapist, they'd be like, but I'm fine.
Yeah,
this is why people with personality disorders don't do well in therapy.
Or they would be like, why would I need therapy? Like, you're the problem. Right. You're part of the 3D. Like, I'm part of the 50 or whatever it is.
Right.
Yeah. What kind of treatment, like, would you give to somebody post cult? Like, if somebody walked into your office and was like, I was just a part of Love Has Won. Like, I would probably shit my pants. No, I'm just kidding. I would be like, oh my God, there's so much.
I mean, it's going to be, it's trauma.
It's trauma. It's trauma therapy, I think.
We're doing ART. We're doing accelerated resolution therapy. We're doing EMDR.
Yeah, some
we're
of them probably
doing,
need EMDR.
you know, self-esteem work for sure. I mean, I think, to me, I see it, it's like you've been in an abusive relationship.
Yeah.
You know, you have to rebuild your life. You have to rebuild this idea of how the world works, of like, I don't have to do X, Y, and Z to be, you know, worthy. I don't have to take colloidal silver to be, you know, healthy.
Oh my God.
You know, I can just get like a small fry instead of a medium fry, and that makes me healthy. Like, it's a lot of that.
Yeah. Yeah. I think you're 100% right. I would say it's a lot of it is going to be just straight trauma work. And I think self-esteem is like, oh, that's all I can think. Like, I'm stuck because I'm just like, I can't even think, because I think that is what you'd be working on for so long. It would be trauma. It would be like, maybe like, I don't know, you might see a little family therapy, especially if there was estrangement, because like that would be something. Especially I felt so bad for the families in this documentary. You could just tell they were like,
well, and I think, like
broken.
You said, like the families they interviewed all seemed really like supportive, but again, it's that perception of abandonment. Like if somehow they perceived they were abandoned by society or by their family, then there it is. Yeah,
like one of them, she I forget, I think her name was Hope in the documentary. She was estranged from her family, obviously, and then her mom called for like a wellness check, and the mom was part of the documentary, and she was like, I was literally just calling because she really looked thin, like she wasn't looking well.
She was one of them doing the
lives.
And
then like the next live stream, Hope comes on there and she was like, and fuck you to whoever called the police. You know who you fucking are. I fucking hate you. And it's her fucking mom. I was like, damn, yeah. And like her mom was like, I mean, the families would watch the live streams just to see them. Like, and it was wild. And that's what pretty much Amy's family did too. They were just trying to see how she was, but anyways, I would recommend it. I will say it's not really for the faint of heart in some instances.
There are some serious themes.
Yeah.
That unless you're desensitized to the fucked up nature of the world, you probably shouldn't watch.
It's not scary. It's not like it's just you watch it and you kind of feel bad. You feel really bad. Like sympathy is the number one thing I would say I really felt. And it's just,
I have a discussion question for you. What would you do if one of your loved ones joined the cult?
Oh my God.
Like, what if producer Justin said,
bye?
Hey, sign these divorce papers really quick before you go.
Bye.
Or like Kathy. What if Kathy did it?
It's tough because I think I'm a person who's like, I'm not going to tell you not to do something, and I'm not going to like intervene in a bad decision. That sounds really bad, but like, I don't like to be that person that's like, you shouldn't do this. But I think if somebody legitimately joined in my family, I think I would try to help, but it's like, again, what do you do? I mean, there's no help.
Yeah.
Like they're not going to take it. So it's sort of like, I mean, I think I would probably do what these families did and like watch the live streams, like make sure you're fine. Like try to like, it's because these people didn't like turn off their phones. They kept their phones active. So like the families would call them and stuff.
They would just ignore them.
And I think that's what I would do. I think I would just straight up like try to maintain contact, but obviously you can't. And then if there was ever a point where they called me and they were like, oh, I want, I would be there in 10 seconds. Like I would.
Oh, like if they were like, I'm ready to go.
Yeah, I would be there.
Yeah,
because I mean, you can't, because it's not like you can call and be like, you got to get out. Like that's not going to help. It's going to make it worse.
I think there's a window of opportunity for that too.
Yeah,
I think that's like their moment of clarity that can.
Yeah, you got to capitalize on that. If it's like I want to leave, because like the one who was the medical woman who had that, she called her mom and she was like, I need you to get me a hotel, and the mom was like, okay, and and I mean that would be me. I'd be like, okay, I'm on the next plane, bye. Like,
yep, I agree. I think I am that kind of person that I will tell you what I think about your decision, and you can take that as you will. So I think I would be like, well, I know about this cult. Listen to my podcast episode about it.
Yeah.
But like you said,
I think I would be like, I think it sounds like a terrible idea, and I would probably leave it at that.
I would say that sounds like a terrible idea. I don't think that's good for you, but I guess you do what you got to do.
I know.
But then, I would probably watch the lies. It depends. I would probably watch them for a little bit, but then I think that would just hurt me, and I'd have to stop eventually. But then,
I wouldn't be watching every day. I'd be watching like maybe once a month or something like that. I wouldn't be watching. But then
if they call and they're like, I'm ready to go, I'd be like, well, my card number is 4258.
I'm sending you an Uber. Do you know what a car looks like still? I'm just kidding. They drove everywhere.
Right.
Who knows how they... Anyways, how do they procure the things that they procured was crazy to me, but it's fine. So.
Resources.
All right, last thing.
Mm-hmm.
Fetch or flop.
Oh, yeah.
And this is inspired by Dr. Phil.
No.
I did daytime TV shows.
Oh, okay.
Because I was like, Dr.
okay.
Phil is sort of a daytime TV show.
Sure.
Okay, ready? Fetch
Yeah,
and
yeah,
flop.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Jerry Springer. Fetch.
It's fine.
I don't care.
It's fine.
It's a fetch for
fine.
me.
It's
It's
fine.
messy. I think it's mostly
I was
scripted.
well,
It's fine.
and maybe but I was a different girl than Jerry Springer.
Oh, okay. I have a bunch.
Yeah, we'll see if you get to it. I'm sure you will.
Maury.
Yeah, that's Fetch. I was a
Fetch.
Maury girl. Oh,
Fetch.
and let me tell you, when they had the "Is it a boy? Is it a girl?" Problematic. Do you remember? Did you?
Yes,
watch
I
Maury?
think I remember some
Very
of those.
problematic.
Oh,
watching
yeah.
that because it was literally like it was problematic. But I lived as an 8-year-old gay boy living. Mother was living. Mother ascended.
I was more so allowed to watch. Well, I don't know if I allowed. My mom's probably like, "What the fuck?"
Sorry, Kathy.
I watched more Maury than I did Jerry Springer. Jerry Springer was like literally 11 a.m. on like a weekday. So like when I was homesick, like sometimes I would watch it. But Maury was more. I don't know. I just like sometimes they had makeovers, which were like nice.
Yeah.
Like they did do nice episodes, but I literally the Who's Your Baby Daddy literally was my favorite thing.
Love that.
Okay, so this is a newer one, the Steve Wilkos show. He was the bodyguard of Jerry Springer.
Yeah,
and
I
he
don't
got
think I've really watched it, but it seemed. I mean,
it's a flop for me.
It still seemed Jerry Springer-ish.
Yeah, he tried to be more like
nice, didn't he? Like a little nicer.
Yeah, he tried to be more like Jerry mixed with like therapy, and then it kind of devolved into like Jerry Springer too. I think it's a flop.
Yeah.
Dr. Phil.
Flop. So sorry,
yeah,
Kathy.
I'm gonna go with flop.
So sorry. I'm so sorry.
He was better when he was on Oprah, and he was actually a licensed psychologist, and then he stopped, and then he got in trouble, and they took his license away. He's not a licensed
He's
psychologist.
not a licensed psychologist. Hasn't
anymore.
been for a long time.
Yes, and
just so we all know.
Sally Jesse. Did you ever watch that?
Oh my God, Fetch. Oh my God,
Fetch.
are you kidding me?
Sally Jesse Raphael.
Probably a gay awakening
we're,
for me.
We're aging ourselves, I think, a little
Probably
bit.
a gay awakening for me.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Oh my God, those were good times.
She was basically a drag queen.
Yeah. Ricky Lake.
Oh, Fetch. Absolutely. Absolutely.
Montel.
Fetch.
Fetch.
Oh, Sylvia Brown. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? With her 18-inch nails sitting there just telling you the tea.
That's a drag queen.
That's a drag queen, honey. Miss Sylvia Brown.
As an adult, I do not like her, but as a child, I was like, you couldn't tell me. I was like, sign me up for a reading, bitch.
Thank you.
She'd be like, is Christmas a special day to anybody? I was
You'd be like, oh my fucking God, yes. I fucking love Christmas.
It's like Teresa Caputo. Like, it's the same type of shit. Anyway.
Well, Fetch. She's Fetch too. Are you kidding me?
I used to watch her show when she was brand new.
Hair,
now she's too celebrity.
That hair gets bigger and bigger every year.
Her nails killed me.
She's basically Lady Bunny at this point.
Yeah, oh my God.
Can't deal.
Last one, Jenny Jones. You remember Jenny Jones?
Oh, I don't know who that is.
She was kind of like a Sally Jesse, Ricky Lake, Jenny Jones. I'm dating myself with the Jenny.
Let me Dr. Google really quick. Who is it?
Jenny Jones. She was an interesting. She kind of was. Yeah, she was sort of like she was sort of like a Sally Jesse.
Yes.
She wasn't as like she was and it was 91 to 2003. Oh my God, I'm really dating myself.
Isn't she the one that didn't she do the dating? She did like a dating episode. And
no, that wasn't her. You're talking about
the guy killed the other guy.
Oh yeah. That did happen on her show. Yeah,
okay.
I thought you were talking about it was the one serial killer guy. And I was
no, she brought a guy on who wanted to confess his love to another man, but the other man was not a homosexual.
Yes,
and ended up killing the other guy.
Yes, okay.
That was Jenny Jones. Right?
Yes. So here, I'll just read this since you just brought it up. It was a pirate doctor show for 12 years. An episode called Same-Sex Secret Crushes, taped on March 6, 1995, a gay man named Scott Amenger confessed his love for his friend Jonathan Schmitz. While on the show, Schmitz reacted with laughter, but he became disturbed by the incident later. He had a long history of mental illness and drug/alcohol abuse. 3 days after the show's taping, Schmitz killed Andemir and was convicted of second-degree murder and received a sentence of 25 to 50 years in prison. The episode never aired.
Yeah, allegedly. and if I remember correctly, I think there's a documentary about it. Maybe. I don't know how I know. Or maybe I read an article. I don't know how I know so much about it. But They tried to tell, I think, either the producers, maybe even Jenny, like, I don't think we should do this, because I think they flew the not gay guy out, and they knew he was like partying and drinking and like all this stuff, and they were like, I don't think we should do this. Like,
well, and even like,
because I think they tried to ask
like
him
that.
if he was gay, like they were like in show interviews, and they were like, he's not gay.
Jerry Springer did like not I don't remember them doing like gay, but
that was scripted.
But they would do like it would be like a husband and a wife, and then like it would be like the wife's best friend, and she would be like, I'm in love with her husband, like, and they like that shit. But they didn't. I don't remember them doing like.
No, I don't think they did anything like that.
Oh, well,
Yeah, but yeah, I
Jenny
do
Jones.
remember Jenny. You know,
I'm gonna go find.
yeah,
I'm
I
glad they didn't
remember
air the
watching a few
episode.
episodes. Yeah.
I'm about to Google this guy. See where he's at. Jonathan Schmaltz. Oh, it says released. Is he today?
Oh, out killing gays again.
Yeah. Nope. He's out. He lives in Michigan. So
Nope.
sorry, just doxed him, but
Oh.
I won't say the town. They actually have the town on the internet. If you Google his name, you'll
They have
see
the town-
exactly where he's
They
at.
have the street name.
Oh,
the
does he have
street
an? Is
name.
this him on Instagram?
Oh, is he gay now? That would be. That would not be hilarious.
I don't
but
think
that
this,
would be.
this cannot be.
That
him.
would be a twist of fate for
Is
sure.
that him? No, that's not him.
Like,
Okay.
he ends
There was
up-
an Instagram. It's not him.
It ends up he is a homosexual.
I've seen this guy's picture before. I don't know where I've seen it. If there's a documentary, we'll find it and maybe we'll do an episode.
Maybe
on
we'll
it.
do it. Yeah,
Who knows? Anyways, well, kids.
love that. We'll do a full cult episode.
Yes.
We have to get into that.
Yeah.
We have to get into the psychology of it.
The psychology of cults.
Mm-hmm.
I do have it on our list. Well,
There you go.
hope you all ascend at some point in your life. Call your galactics.
Call your galactics.
You can't claim Robin Williams. He's already been
Who would
taken.
be Who would be your galactics? Who are you in a past life?
Freddie Mercury.
Oh, I love that.
100%.
Oh, okay.
100% Freddie Mercury.
Okay.
What about you? I'm like trying to think of anybody else. I
mean, we were alive at the same time, but Joan Rivers. So I don't think that counts. But
I don't know. I think. Well, yeah. I think
Or,
it's someone who died before. Well, and Freddie Mercury died after I was born. I think.
oh my God, what is her name?
Describe.
She's an old actress from like
Mae West.
Thank you. Absolutely.
Tell me how I knew
Mae
that.
West because Kismet, because Soul Sisters, Sister
Mae
Wives.
West. I think.
Absolutely, Mae West. Love
I'm trying
her.
to think of people
Love
like
her.
I identify with in celebrities, but there's not like a ton. But Freddie Mercury, I would 100% yes.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
Mm-hmm. Bianca
Maybe
Del Rio.
yeah, she's Satan. Maybe Natalie Wood. I always thought her life was super interesting.
Who is that?
She was in West Side Story. She was Maria, the original West Side Story. She was a very famous actress.
Oh.
She was married. Did you ever watch Austin Powers?
Yeah.
You know the guy with the eye patch?
Yeah.
Robert something.
Yeah,
He was her husband. They were in a boating accident. She
Oh.
toppled overboard and died.
Oh.
But
my.
she was in a lot of like very famous movies, like back in the 50s, 60s
Oh,
time
okay.
frame. I'm so sorry, Mom, if I'm getting this wrong. She's gonna be like screaming at them.
Right.
boat.
She's
She's
like,
like, "What are you talking about?"
I'm never listening
But
to
I always
this
like
again.
I always think Natalie Wood is a very interesting like her life was very interesting, and like her death was, everybody thinks like he pushed her off and stuff like that. Like it was a very
messy.
yeah, she was in Rebel Without a Cause with James Dean. Like I mean,
Mm-hmm.
very famous actress at the time. I think Robert Wagner is his name. I was like, it's Robert something.
Wagner.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They think he pushed her off the boat. And Christopher Walken was also on the boat. Just saying.
Well.
It's a very famous thing. But yeah, I think those two, maybe Freddie Mercury though is number one.
Love that.
I think he died after I was born, but it's fine. We'll take it.
Yeah.
Well, if you get to do Joan Rivers, I get to do Freddie Mercury.
It's all made up anyway.
It's fine. Well, kids.
Stay tired.
I'm Petty.